what is a tool or thing that keeps your mental health in a great place? What fuels your stoke?
First thing that comes to mind, like what John said, the gym, physical work. Another word I've said before, I think I said on the rock at one point, was a gratitude journal. That helps, because the more you do it, at the end of the day, I just write 3 things I'm grateful for. And it was a good exercise, because then through the day, I'd be looking for things to be grateful for. Like, what am I grateful for today? What am I gonna write at the end of my day in my journal? And then when you're thinking that, it just puts you in that frame of mind of gratitude. So you're in that wavelength, and you're attracting more things to be grateful for. Yeah. So that's one I really used for years, and it's worked wonders.
Sweet. Okay, fellas, so to crack it on open, let you know about what Spark That Chat is. Spark That Chat was and is, it started as an initiative, as just an idea of managing personal loss of friends, of close mates within the crew. And the first one particular, that really ignited a flame within me to be like, I want to do what I can with what I've got to help as many people as we can. Because there's one thing that I ended up losing a couple more mates over that next year in different friend groups, and one thing that they're all united by is that they're all good fellas.
Yeah.
They're just all good dudes, and they obviously didn't feel like they could have a real conversation or get something off the chest that was deep-rooted that they could overcome. So basically from in those initial stages, the conversation and connection was the biggest thing with our friend group and family to be able to get over those next few gnarly months. And it was super gnarly, super tough, but I saw the power in what a conversation can have. And like in connection of whoever you are, no matter what walk of life you are from, we're here today, and it's just the same. We're all people at the end of the day.
Amen.
And so really wanted to. It's over the past 5 years. It's grown from a campaign initiative led through to a movement where people are really aligning themselves to the belief. Because basically what you see is what you get, bro. We're talking about just real simple stuff, but that can be superpowers that people don't know about, that we can hack into as people, whether that be exercise, whether that be communication, whether that be just being still, breathing. I know as seeing your doco, brother, commend you, bro, on just the work, the mahi that you put into that to showcase what you do, but also in the most extraordinary, vulnerable way. Of being a masculine male doing what you do in the UFC, and then showing the reality of what happens as a bloke, as a dude, as a person. And I think that's just so powerful watching it. Like I just can't, leading the way, bro. Leading the way and leading by example in doing so. And just the amount of people you would have helped by creating that piece of to showcase who you are. And no doubt, bro, had the adversity around that of people seeing you for you. Because that's scary to us all. That's why I guess, we're losing these good men, is because they can't overcome that barrier. But by you leading, having the platform you do, being the individual you are, bro, it's been hugely, inspiring.
I appreciate that. Start off with just friends, because even John, you've been to a couple of sessions with Janet and us and done like the exercises, like the rage holds back in the day, And then some of the boys from the gym joined in as well, and some of them would hit me up and be like, look, is there anyone I can talk to? And I'll be like, look, I got you, or here's a number to, Janet, and but I appreciate that. When did you guys start this?
So, started the initiative? That started, bro, so my first brother, Rito, took his life in November 2020, and I started the first campaign March 2021.
Okay, I see. Wow.
So it was a real short turnaround. I was also still grieving and didn't know, to manage this space. But I, again, just wanted to reiterate that it was so important to be able to get this message out there and talk about it, because, again, there would have been a number of lives lost for that in New Zealand over that next few months. So it's like just...
But even the power of your grief would have helped you feel the project and the initiative.
Well, everything's coming from here, and like that's how I roll, bro, and I understand you boys as well and doing what you do, and it's it's just about doing this, man, and just being real.
Yeah.
It's been real. It's so in front of the lens is what you get behind the lens, bro, and it's the same I can see with you fellas as well. So anyway, the journey with where Spark That Chat is now, it's an official charity. It's got a wicked board of directors which I've assembled from all different walks of life that they add their flavour to the mix. I'm mainly creative director, so like it's passion which drives this in our campaigns. So I wanted to I'm an action sports athlete.
Okay.
So free ride, moto, surfing, snowboarding, mountain biking. So in terms of what you're chasing and the adrenaline and that feeling of like when you're doing what you do, like I felt the same thing, especially like I just learned how to backflip a moto and like looking at this and I crashed my first hit, and then the adversity to be able to get my ass back to that same spot and send it again, but learn in that space of time. I want to talk more about that with you guys later down the track. But we're on this tour, day 5 of the Future Generations tour, and we're touring backed by Harley Davidson Australasia, all 9 regions of the North Island in 16 days.
Mad.
And speaking to schools, universities, and all walks of life. We're here to rip into that and just show that we're all human, and also share that story and share that message.
Amen.
So I think rolling in to the first question, brothers.
Yeah.
Starting with you, Izzy.
Yeah.
What are you most grateful for?
What am I most grateful for? Right now, to be honest, it's just the people I have with me, my family, friends, my team, my support system. That's what I'm really most grateful for. Because this life that we live, you know, it's a lot of ups and downs, smiles and frowns. And if you don't have a right support system with you, it can, especially at my level, it can definitely break you. I've seen it break many people. I've seen it as I was coming up in this game, watching, you know, people rise and fall. Not just in fighting and fucking acting, football, anything else. You just see people get risen and then torn down. And it's because they don't have a good support system around them. You know, have a lot of yes men or have family that tries to leech off them, bleed them dry type shit. So for me, I'm just grateful I have a really good support system and a really good family behind me.
Man, the roots, eh?
The roots, exact foundation.
The foundation, the groundedness, like especially in what you guys do again. And I've heard you say it, bro, and listen to podcasts and doco and whatnot, and your work. You know, the world builds you up, but then again, they can absolutely try to tear you down. But at those times of being torn down, or the attempt to tear you down, you go back to your roots, to your whānau, to everyone, those real, your tight circle of who matters.
Amen.
And how important that is.
Amen. Yeah. Facts.
Yeah, cool, bro. Thanks for sharing. John, what about you, brother? What are you most grateful for?
It's pretty much what Israel said, just the support system I'm most grateful for. Like, it's pretty hard to say it after he said it because he just nailed it on the spot, you know, like the people you need around you, you know, your friends, your family. I know during tough times, they're like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. But just to play on that, just to give them something more than what Israel just said, I'd like to say the sport, mixed martial arts, it's an anchor. Yeah, like it brings us, like as when you float away, when we come in here, that's our anchor. It brings us down. We've got a lot of anchors in here, you know, and it's like for the good and the bad. Like when you get real high, it's an anchor. When you get real low, it's an anchor. Yeah. Because it's like a different anchor. Like because you feel like you're underground, but this anchor pulls you up. Sometimes you feel like you're in the clouds, and the anchor will bring you right back down there. So I would say MMA, the sport, but biasly I would say this place.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for this place. Yeah, saved my life. Yeah. Sincerely.
Man, bro, that's real talk.
Amen.
That's powerful stuff, bro.
Amen.
That's powerful stuff. And like, I just learned the other side of the anchor of what you just said. You talked about the both sides of the anchor point, of it being when you're in the absolute clouds.
I
when
never heard it
everything's
put like
going
that.
right.
He put it very well like that. I was like, sure.
And then the other way, yeah. And when you're down, and when you're at your toughest, you're getting pulled up. Yeah. I think that's so powerful, and what you just said very clearly. And personally as well, what the anchor point of relating to you boys and what MMA does in this space, this place, this family. Exercise, like being able to like roll back into that point of, I personally love being absolutely mentally and physically challenged when you're in the hurt locker.
Yeah.
You know, that's when
You feel it, eh? Like you said, when you're away for a while, then you're like, because I like to drift off, but then again, it brings you back to anchor point. And then if I'm not exercising or moving my body, like lifting weights is cool, but when I have him on my back trying to choke me out, it's a different kind of like primal, like, oh shit, you have to really fight. And then afterwards, all the dopamine and endorphins.
Yeah.
It just, after certain like VO2 max trainings or whatever, spiders, then you just get that rush. I'm sure you get it as well after you land something. You know, Ryan Williams? Williams, yeah.
Willie, yeah, bro.
Willie, yeah. Seen, like, I was even talking to him at one of the last shows, and he did like I thought it was 4, but he said 5 tail whips and a backflip. And I was just like, that's ridiculous. But I can imagine, I saw the reps. It took for him reps, banging his body constantly. So I'm sure for you, after you hit one of those, you're just like,
yeah.
Oh, the feeling, I can only imagine, man.
Yeah. Well, it's the same feeling as when probably in the dub, bro.
Yeah.
Probably like the reps,
definitely,
the reps, and here, everything that amounted to you to win. It's the same thing in a different aspect.
Same,
but
different.
Fully. It's that same feeling of conquering the adversity, of the downs, of everything, the journey there, and then getting to that absolute height of where you haven't been before. Like that.
Conquering
that's an all time.
How long have you been riding for?
I've been riding bikes since I was 4.
4, oh sure.
And then racing from when I was 8. And then I stopped racing at 17 and then went and did the uni thing, played rugby and whatnot, and then came back and I worked for Red Bull for a couple of years while I was studying, and then always was on the bike in between and surfing and everything and filming, and then came back. It was like, I'm gonna chase the dream.
How old are you now?
I'm 28.
Oh, young.
Bro. Yeah, and just chase the dream, bro, and never look back. And curveballs, you know, life curveballs, injuries, haters, everything. You know what I mean? Like the whole 9 yards, and to overcome and conquer and learn and develop and evolve. Yeah, across the action sports, but as a person, it's all like learning curves to who you are, eh? Like out of the cage, out of the gym, to being here, to be grounded. Yeah no, bro. Awesome, boys. Great start. Great answers for the first question. Back to Izzy, brother. What would you say to a mate if they reached out and they were struggling?
If they reached out and they were struggling, I won't give details, but a friend of mine reached out to me recently and had really bad trouble at home with his family, and I just held space for me because I had to learn that. Actually, funny enough, I've learned this as a boyfriend, because I realized as men we try and fix shit. So like, when my old girlfriends would bring problems and stuff, and I just like, well, what you can do is this, that, and it's just like, I don't need you to give me solutions. I just need to listen. So then that kind of helped me be a better boyfriend. But I realized with friends as well, or people, it's better to do that. And then I hold space for them, let them get it all out, and I listen without. I used to do this as well, and I've learned consciously to not do it, interrupt people, because I hate it when it's done to me, because it reflects my old self. So I'd listen without interrupting, because I want to understand what they're saying. And I'd listen, and then when I feel like they've gotten they vented out, then I'd ask, right, would you like my advice? And that gives them the choice, like, okay, if they say yes or if they say nah, I just wanted you to listen. Because sometimes me as well, if I want to vent, I don't really, because some of my, like, close friends can't relate to certain things I'm saying, but they understand me, so they can understand how I feel. But then I just need to vent, I just need to get it out. And then when I get it out, I feel better. And then I have more clarity of what I want to do, But if I do need advice, then I'll ask for it. But yeah, what I do is just hold space, and at the end of it, I go, would you like my advice? And then I'd help. And if it's something that I can't deal with, because I'm not a professional, I tell them and I recommend them to get professional help. And I'd say, look, what I've always said is, we look after our physical health so we don't get physically ill. So everybody got to look after their mental health so they don't get mentally ill or mentally sick. And it's not, the word mental health sometimes gets a little charged, but I'm just like, no, it's just like anything. Just everyone should start saying physical health, because then that'll take away the stigma that has to go with looking after your mental health. But it's going away. It's going away now, and there's a little bit of regression now because, you know, there's all that, just harden up, mate. Da, 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 da. But then you look at the suicide rates in NZ.
It's got to go, bro.
Oh, it's gonna go. It's gonna go.
That's why we're doing this.
It's 2 steps forward, half a step back.
Yeah.
3 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
So I've seen the tides keep doing that.
Yeah.
But it's going.
Yeah.
It's going.
Well, it's these conversations that I believe making the difference.
Facts.
Because if you can drop a drop in that lake, you know, and the ripple effects of that, and you have a pretty big drop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You fellas, like, and it does. The ripple effect of these real, raw, honest conversations are hugely powerful to someone that's at home and picking up the phone and they're watching it. Instead of watching some other bullshit, they're watching some real talk by maybe their idols. And John, yourself, what about you, bro? What if a mate reached out and they were struggling and asking for help?
Man, it's hard because Izzy kind of nails the answer there. I was like,
wait, guess what? We've done this to each other before.
I was like, well, he said no. Well, I think there are other ways. Like, you give them a tool. Like, I think sauna is sometimes good because of, like, it takes you out of your brain. You know, like, sometimes when there's chaos, it forces you to just sit and breathe. Even if, like, you know, when someone's going through a chaotic time, you're like, meditate or pray or something like that. Something, be still. That's hard. So if you need to force it on yourself, I'll say, like, after 10 minutes in the sauna, you're gonna be like still for a little bit. And like sometimes I do that in here. I'll go do physical training, but you can't expect everyone to physically train. So a real easy one, and everyone has a community pool. Hit the sauna for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, you'll feel a little better. And I've actually heard this, that like sauna is like helps depression because of their state of mind. Wow. So like when you're like thinking chaotically, and there's all these thoughts going in, and you never make the right decision when it's chaotic, be still. And if you need a tool to be still, I'll say just go to the sauna and sit there. Like, don't sit there for an hour, like sit there for like 15 minutes, cool off, and you'll start taking yourself back to the present. And that's if like you don't have that support system to talk to at the time, or if you're not ready to talk to them, because sometimes like that's tough for people to do because of like they have a sense of like that need. And that's why you're saying it, there's that toxic masculinity that we all have sometimes of, like, your support system, you shouldn't have any shame in talking to them. But in reality, in New Zealand, there's shame in it. We much rather go drink with a bartender at the bar who's a stranger to us than sit next to our closest brother and say that we've got a problem. Like, I don't know why that makes sense, but that's just human nature. And that's just the way that we are.
We're changing it.
So,
we're doing it right now. We're reversing that shit.
Facts.
Because that doesn't get anyone anywhere.
Nah.
No, but this does. Bro, beautiful, bro.
Yeah, so I think I think that would be like a big one, you know, like ideally you want to be able to go to support system, but I know as men we just run. We run from our support system for some reason or another. I don't know why we do it, but that's why you probably know when your friend was lost, you're probably thinking, why, like, what could I have done?
That's
and you couldn't have done anything because we couldn't have done anything. But I think just leading on to what Izzy was saying, and what I'm trying to say is give your friends a chance. Give them a chance.
That's a good slogan.
Yeah.
Give your friends a chance.
Give them a chance. We give chances to everything else but our friends, but our support system, but the people who truly love us. And I don't know why that is as men, that we have shame and guilt and feeling hurt and going to the people closest to us to talk. I don't know what that is, but give them a chance.
And John, what do you mean by that, bro, in terms of giving them a chance?
It's like a natural thing that we have, I think, as men, like, because sometimes we feel like we're letting them down. Sometimes we feel like we're not holding our weight if we're like being weak. A burden. Yeah. You know, like, if you think about, we talk about this as a place, everyone holds a weight, everyone's holding a side, not one weight's bigger than the other. If you admit you're weak, you feel like maybe you're letting down the side that you're supposed to be holding up. So therefore, you won't say anything and you'll hold up what your spot, even though you're not feeling it, and you'll feel more comfortable instinctively to go somewhere else, which doesn't make sense because it's actually going away from what we're talking about, which is the perfect scenario where you can sit down with your right support system. And yeah, I think anytime you run away from something, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
And the bottle,
Powers up, eh?
the bottle becomes more and more full
Yeah.
to the point it's got to explode, right? Because and that's the point. That's what we don't want, because that never looks good.
Nah.
But like going back, that's like a 360 moment right there, John, as well, is the getting back to your pillars. What you're grateful for, Izzy, what we're grateful for, is that relying on your pillars, relying on your teammates. You've built this structure, this empire, this fortress. And hey, if there's a weak part about that, you've got to get the team that's strong around you to bind around you, reaching out. And they don't know we're not mind readers.
Yeah.
Fellas out there as well, like everyone out there, that we're not, no one's a mind reader. So it's about, taking the absolute courage, because it's courageous, and hence why just massive hats off to you boys even sitting here today. It takes a lot of courage to talk about this stuff as blokes, especially in this country. And but hey, this is what's making the change.
No more, she'll be right, mate.
Yeah.
Right.
None of that, bro. None of that, bro. No, awesome, lads. Great answers. So, Izzy, back to you, brother. What is a tool or thing that keeps your mental health in a great place? What fuels your stoke?
First thing that comes to mind, like what John said, the gym, physical work. But the sauna makes sense as well, because then it takes you out of your mind, because you've got other pressures, something else to focus on. But yeah, definitely, I can feel it after like maybe, if it's 3 days of no training, no physical activity, I can feel myself, depending on what's happening in life, I can feel myself my fuse get shorter, or I'm a little bit more just on edge, anxious. But then when I come here, like again, you have him on your back, choking you out, you're fighting for your life, you're rolling, all that kind of stuff, and then endorphins and dopamine afterwards. So yeah, I'd say this is definitely one tool I use. Another what I've said before, I think I said on the rock at one point, was a gratitude journal. That helps, because the more you do it, at the end of the day, I just write 3 things I'm grateful for. And it was a good exercise, because then it became, through the day, I'd be looking for things to be grateful for. Like, what am I grateful for today? What am I going to write at the end of my day in my journal? And then when you're thinking that, it just puts you in that frame of mind of gratitude. So you're in that wavelength, and you're attracting more things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
So that's one I really used for years, and it's worked wonders.
Sick. Awesome, bro. Practicing gratitude is a huge one, eh?
Yeah.
Like, the space of training.
Or have John on your back, it helps.
Yeah, having John. Yeah, it's talked about that a couple of times, bro.
Oh, no, because it happened today as well. I'm like, oh, yeah, true. It's been a while.
Yeah, bro. So
keeps you humble, eh?
Yeah. Hey, that's the point, eh? Like, again, is he like floating off to the clouds and being put on this pedestal?
Yeah.
But being able to ground yourself with these tools and these people, brother.
Real humility is, again, having John on your back. Like, when I see sometimes people, I've said this before, pretending to be humble to appease the masses because they don't want to seem like they're better than some. I'm like, nah, because again, I've said it at the Halbergs, we have that culture, and I'm like, nah, fuck that tall puppy shit. Speak your truth, big yourself up, but big everyone else up around you. And I try and lift everyone up around me as well.
Yeah.
But then, again, there's been times in the past where, not really too crazy, but like I might have just drifted off a little bit, and then right here, this is where reality is. This is where real humility is.
People that love you as well.
Exactly, from the people, and they don't mean to, but just them doing what we do, it just happens, and I'm like, oh yeah, I suck at this, eh? I gotta get better. So that's real humility, not the, oh, nah, I'm all good. Oh, nah, I'm, like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate that shit. And then when I see it in other people as well, like some of our greatest athletes, I'm like, bro,
come on.
Tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Authenticity. Yeah, amen.
Yeah.
What about you, John? What's a good
what about
tool
you, John?
use?
Tool to keep you in a good place.
This might sound a little crazy.
Let's go.
Come on, let's
We're all
have it.
crazy somehow.
I just talk to myself.
Bruh, amen.
I just talk to myself.
Yes.
Some people call it prayer, but I talk to myself. Like, how are you feeling? What do you need from today? And I started doing it recently, and it's really gave me joy because I started checking in on myself. And then I remember doing it one time, and then my sister, who's here from Brisbane, walked past, and she was like, "I heard you praying." I was like, "I wasn't praying. I was talking to myself."
Well, you are praying.
That's what I didn't realize. I didn't. I started clicking because she was like, "We praying?" Then, and I was like, "No, I was just yarning, having a little yarn to myself, like, how you feeling? What's on your mind? What would you like to do today? What could you do today to make you feel better about this?" And when I started doing that, I really just started giving me joy. Like, and then I started on my day, and I was like, cool. Like, there was no like, because I just started talking to myself. Yeah. And then what was crazy is that as I started to build a better relationship with talking to myself, I started asking for more things. I started expecting more things because I started dreaming out loud. You know, when you first go to a stranger's house, they're like, "Are you hungry?" Like, "But you're hungry?" You know? Yeah. And then the next time you go there, you're like, "Oh, I'll have a drink." Yeah. And then fifth time you're in the cupboard. Yeah. You know, and then like, and then the seventh time you're sleeping there, and they're like, "When are you going home?" Like, that's what I started realizing when I was talking to myself. The first time I was just like, "Oh, just no traffic today," you know, like something small. And then the more and more I started talking to myself, then I started dreaming more. Yeah, and then I realized that there was a relationship between the more I talked to myself and the more I asked, the better sleep I got at night. And the better sleep I got at night, and then it just repeated. Yeah, and then I was like, found a bit of joy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, wicked, bro.
Yeah, so
that's so sick, and it obviously relates to the both of you. Izzy with the doco and who you are and the way you roll. Like it's, you've used it before, humanizing, eh?
Yeah.
Humanizing yourself.
Yeah.
And like being able to understand that we all have a devil in our head that we have to control. Yeah. And we're talking about all these different tools to be able to control just that. But being able to look at yourself in the mirror or talking to yourself, I guess it's sharing that space, it's showing that respect to yourself, eh? That you'd do with others.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why we're hard on ourselves like that. Like, maybe it's not being a burden or whatever, but yeah, talking to yourself like the way you talk to someone else that you love. Yeah. Because you love you. Have to.
Brothers, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Man, that was fun.
Really appreciate your time and everything.
And again, I think we're going to help a lot of people with this, as we do, brother. Definite, man.
My man. And boys, yeah, just best of love. Thank you so much for...
Can I start this up real quick? I just want to feel it.
100%. Yeah, we can get this started. Izzy's going to get one of these actually, so stay tuned.
Oh, it's a magnet. Oh, shit.
Izzy's going to get himself one of these very soon, so stay tuned. Be everyone out there, spark that chat. Yeah. Much love.
Okay, it's on neutral?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then do I press that?
Yeah, bro.
It's the rumble, eh?
Yeah, man.
Let's see if I remember.
Yeah. You want one.
Yeah.
You want a black one and you want it.
No way. No. He's selling up. It's selling up.
What do you reckon of that, brother?
I love it. Okay, let me see if I remember. I know I'm on the brake right now, and I'm meant to do it like that. This is up. Clutch. Up is here. Where this clutch?
One down and 4 up.
First gear down.
First. Okay, but I'm on a clutch right now.
Yep.
That's clutch.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's first gear, bro. So you're in gear.
So if I go, how do I go neutral again?
Yeah, in between.
One clip.
Oh, I'm trying.
Just a little clip. Yeah, there you go, bro.
Try if I remember.
Okay.
I'll go a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah, boy.
A little bit.
There's a training wheels.
It looks good on you, brother.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah, he's found a new love. We got Izzy on Harleys. Here he is.
Trying to remember.
Got him on the rig, bro. He's a Harley fan. There it is. There it is.
2 seconds, I'll be back.
Yeah, bro, go for a bin.
Yeah, go for it. Hey, brother.
And he's off.
Hey guys, what's up? Izzy here. Like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoy this video.